What is up, everybody? We are at the new apartment. I finally completed my move. It's been about a week since I've been living here in Arizona from Florida. And yeah, it's been a lot, man. I haven't had Wi-Fi for the past week. I got here on Sunday and it's Sunday the 18th, so I literally haven't had Wi-Fi for a week. So finally got Wi-Fi working. Finally can start, uploading and recording videos again for you guys because man, I'm out of it. Like I said, I haven't had Wi-Fi. I forgot even how to record for a second. So get back on track, get some videos out for you guys probably once or twice a week. But now that the move is over, we're going to go through here and we're going to see how much it actually cost me to move from Florida to Arizona. If you guys are not aware of who I am, or if this is your first time watching a video like this, or you're just not familiar with my personal life, I had to move from Florida to Arizona to relocate for work. And obviously, I like tracking finances and I like showing you guys my finances. So we're going to go through. I'm going to show you guys pretty much how much it actually cost me to move across the country. And we're going to go from there. So let's get right into the video. And like I said, if I'm, the lighting's weird or something, I literally just set my desk up and this is the first time I've been able to actually record something since I got Wi-Fi working. So let's get into it here. First things first is going to be the first month rent at my new place. If you guys have ever lived in an apartment before, there's going to be things you like. There's going to be things you don't like. I'll be honest, there's a few things I don't like about this place, but all in all, I'd say for the price I'm paying, I like it, right? It's a pretty decent place. And just so you guys know, when I'm going through the prices on this list, my girlfriend moved with me, so some of this stuff she actually paid for, and stuff like the rent we actually split. So this is not how much I personally had to pay 100% out of my pocket, but close to about 60-70%. Anyway, let's get into the video here. So first things first is the first month rent. So the first month rent at this place was $21.23.52. And now this was actually paid before I moved here to lock in the lower rate of the rent. I actually signed the lease before we moved. So this $21.23 is not the base rent. This is after utilities. So the way this apartment works is pretty much your rent has everything baked into it. Most traditional apartments, you pay your water bill separate, or you pay your electricity separate, or you pay your Wi-Fi separate. This is all baked into one cost. So the rent, that includes, water, electricity, Wi-Fi, etc., etc. So rent, in my opinion, is actually not too bad for being out here, being in the spot we're at. Like I said, I like it. It's pretty good for the price we're paying. Next, there's also an apartment fee. This is going to be the application fees that I paid when signing the lease. As you guys know, whenever you go to rent an apartment, you don't just pay rent. You got to pay for all these one-time application fees, and that came out to $700. So that was pretty expensive, but it's because they charge a $400 pet application, which is insane, but we love our pets, so we keep them around, right? But that's pretty much it for housing. Not too terrible. $21.23 on the first month rent, $700 on the application fee. Could have been worse. Now, next is the actual moving fees here. So this is probably where it's going to start to add up a little bit. But with the moving fees here, the first thing was the U-Haul U-Box. Now, if you aren't familiar with a U-Box, it's basically the thing you shove all your furniture into or all your stuff into, and then they ship it from your desired location to the next location. That way you don't have to drive a truck. It's just easier that way, and it's a little bit cheaper in my opinion. Now, U-Haul by far is the cheapest company to do this through. You'll see companies like Pods and U-Pack and all these random moving companies, so expensive. U-Haul has one size box. It's kind of small. It's a 5x8 box, but it's the cheapest out of everyone. So for the U-Haul U-Box, I paid, after everything from getting the majority of our stuff from Florida to Arizona, $17.14 on that. So once again, not the worst thing in the world. When it comes to shipping your stuff in pods, this by far is the cheapest route to take. If you guys are going to move soon and you want to ship your stuff in a pod system, use the U-Haul U-Box. It is the cheapest thing you can get. Now, next is the gas. So we shipped my car and we drove my girlfriend's car. So we had to put gas in my girlfriend's car. Now, gas wasn't actually too bad. Driving from Florida to Arizona, we only had to fill up maybe 5 or 6 times. And it wasn't too bad on gas. In total, for gas, you add everything up, we paid $2.89 and 41 cents. So I don't think that's too bad. And once again, this was split since it's my girlfriend's car. We split this pretty much 50-50. So I didn't pay this in full. She probably paid some of it, but overall, not too bad. Now, the next thing was hotel stops. So we pretty much did a 4-day, 3-night trip. It took us 4 days to get out here, and it took us 3 nights to get out here. And what's nice is, shout out to my dad if you're watching this video, but he actually gets points with his work. So he actually booked all the hotels for me because he had an abundance of travel points. So I actually didn't pay for one hotel, which saved a lot of money, in my opinion. So that actually came out to $0. Not at one point did I, pay money to spend night in a hotel, which is really nice. So my dad covered all of that with his points from his travel with his work. So that saved us definitely a couple $100 right there. So nice not having to pay anything with hotels. Now, next is just, miscellaneous packing supplies. So as you can imagine, when you're moving, you got to pack boxes and duct tape and just random stuff. Packing supplies are pretty cheap. Once again, you can go to U-Haul and get like 30 boxes for, I think, $30 or $20 or something. All in all, for packing supplies, we pretty much paid around $50. It wasn't 50 exactly, but it was basically $50 for packing supplies. So once again, not too bad. That's pretty average, I would say, for two, younger people who are moving their stuff. Now, next is shipping my car. So like I said, we drove my girlfriend's car. We shipped my car. This was kind of expensive. Shipping cars in general is just an expensive thing to do. It's hard to find not only a reliable and trustworthy company, but also just, a good price, right? A lot of the quotes I was getting was around $1,600. But luckily I found a great company through the help of one of my buddies. And I couldn't, they couldn't be any better, right? They shipped my car, no damage, X, Y, and Z, and the price wasn't too bad at $1,200 even. Cash money, $1,200. So once again, could have been worse, could have been better. $1,200 isn't too bad. Now, next is my renter's insurance. For those of you guys who have apartments or who rent a place, it's pretty much impossible to get qualified in the United States for an apartment if you don't have renter's insurance. So before you have an apartment, you need to have renter's insurance to prove it to the apartment complex to show that you are insured. Now, my renter's insurance is through State Farm in the state of Arizona, and it comes out to $7.88 per month. Not bad at all. I'm cool with $7.88. That's a good price to me. Now, next is the fun stuff and definitely the most expensive stuff, and that's the furniture. The furniture is so expensive. Look, I'm even trying to me and my girlfriend are even trying to be kind of cheap when it comes to furniture, and furniture is so much money. But when I say we shipped our stuff in the U-Haul box, we shipped our clothes, small stuff. You're not going to fit a couch in the U-Box. You're not going to fit a mattress. So we came out here with none of that stuff, and we had to buy it. So, for example, the mattress, we literally bought, I think it was the second day we were out here, and got it delivered 3 days ago. The mattress was $11.13 for a king-size mattress. So not terrible. It's a really nice mattress. There were some mattresses at the store that were $4,500, $6,500. I think for $1,100, it's a pretty decent mattress. We could have gone cheaper. We could have gone more expensive. Mattresses are just those things that you kind of want to spend money on, right? I don't mind spending decent money on a mattress, especially if it's going to last me a very long time and it's just going to be comfortable, because we all want to be comfortable when we sleep. So the mattress, $1,100, not too bad. Next is the couch. Now, couches, so expensive. We were looking at some couches and they were I saw a $8,000 couch. I don't know who has the money to spend $8,000 on a couch, but it's not me. But anyway, we found a couch online. I was really hesitant about ordering a couch online It came in yesterday, actually, so we put it together yesterday. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. And for the price of it and for how big it is, it fills up the whole living room downstairs that we have. So I'm pretty happy with it. And the couch came out to $14.52 and 78 cents. Now, this is obviously after tax. I don't think that's terrible. The couch was basically around $1,300. I had a whole bunch of people telling me like go on Facebook Marketplace and find used in this. And dude, honestly, I went on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't find any couch I liked. Also, I'm just not someone who really likes to buy used furniture, especially like a couch. Like, it's kind of just weird to me. I'd rather just buy a new couch. So for $1,400, $1,450, once again, it could be way worse. Could have been a little bit better, but I'm pretty happy with the couch. And I think that's, we did a good job at, mitigating some of those high expenses. Now, next is just miscellaneous furniture, right? Because once again, we literally came here with nothing. So we bought like bar stools, we bought like a carpet, just a few other kind of random things. And for the miscellaneous furniture, that came out to $836.40. So once again, not too bad. Could have been worse, but we're trying to be kind of cheap at the same time, but also still trying to like make this place look nice and look livable. We're going to be here for the next 14 months. And, obviously we want to live in somewhere comfortable that we're proud to come home to every night and be comfortable, but also, manage our expenses at the same time. Now just miscellaneous stuff. Obviously we had to eat, and during the move, we're pretty simple. We kind of just ate McDonald's while we drove. But there was a few nights, like I'm not going to lie, one night I did DoorDash because we were just so tired of driving that I was like, you know what? I know I tell everyone not to DoorDash, but I'm like, I'm just going to DoorDash Applebee's. And we did. So in total for the food for the 4-day trip and 3-night, $135, which is pretty good in my opinion. We kept it pretty easy, pretty minimal. It just came down to that one day of DoorDash. If I didn't DoorDash that one night, this would have been under $100 for all the food. But obviously I DoorDashed and it was like $60, which is insane. Don't DoorDash. If you can get up and drive, do it. But sometimes after 12 hours straight of driving, you just don't want to get in the car. Next is our pet supplies. Obviously, we have a little dog, and we needed to supply the dog with food and water and stuff like that. So once we got out here, we needed to spend money on that. And for that, after everything, $70, not too bad. And then as far as just extra miscellaneous stuff goes, I'm going to call it $0 because really there wasn't any extras. Everything you're seeing here is pretty much penny for penny what we spent moving into this place. And it looks like the grand total comes out to about $9,600, which is a lot higher than I was expecting, if I'm being honest with you guys. But it is what it is, right? Like, we're out here, it's not much we can do. So yeah, not too bad. Obviously, I don't know if you guys watched my other video, but I did get some relocation help from work. Now, it's not enough to cover this, but it was a decent amount. And yeah, so, the move is finally done. $9,600 down the drain, living in Arizona now for my work. But I kind of wanted to make this video as my first intro back into, the new apartment, and just for the fact to let you guys know that I literally haven't had Wi-Fi. So now that I have Wi-Fi, I can actually start making videos again. I can start recording again. Even though I had a pre-planned video that came out on Monday, still, it's been a while since I've recorded. It's been about 2.5 weeks. So yeah, the move's complete. $9,600 has vanished from both of our bank accounts. My next net worth video is probably going to be lower, unfortunately, just because of this move that happened. But you got to manage your expenses. You got to stay on track. You got to play it smart to where you're enjoying spending your money, but also, not going too overboard at the same time. But quick little update video I wanted to give you guys. Everything went good with the move. The drive was pretty easy, and I will get back to uploading videos for you guys. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any comments down below about moving or just questions in general, let me know, because I literally just spent the last 4 months of my life stressing and planning for a move. So if you're planning to move soon and got a question, let me know. I'll try to help you out. But other than that, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.